Welcome to the GloBUNTU Masterclass 2020. If you've come this far, then you would have already done some of the exercises that I put out there for you. If you have not, if this is the first video, I really encourage you to go back and watch the previous videos because they will really open your mind to what we are into, and it will help you to best understand and apply this particular video. I know in the previous video, I promised you that I was going to tell you the 6 enemies, the 6 bad friends, the 6 bad neighbors that you need to avoid as you move into 2020 if you really want to activate and tap into a better version of you, into your next masterpiece. Okay, so, but before I get there, I thought that there is something that I still need to tell you. This comes from my own experience. You know, when you start on this journey, there is something that you really need to bear in mind, that changing habits, sorting out your suitcase and your closet, letting go of things, people, behaviors, and mindsets and attitudes is very, very strenuous. It can be very, very tedious. It can be very, very complicated. It can sometimes really feel like impossible. So in order for you to effectively do that, there is something that I really need you to consider doing, something that I still do. You really need to learn how to affirm yourself. In this program, we're going to be doing quite a lot of affirmations, because when you uproot all those things that have been in place, all those negative belief systems, all the bad habits, and all the repetitions, you know, all the things that have been in your suitcase, if you don't replace immediately with something new, with a new habit, with a new thought, with a new mindset, with a new action, you may fall back. You know, it's like the yo-yo effects you get when you do a diet and you lose weight, and because you start eating normal again, you fall back, and what happens? You take on more weight. So if you don't shift your mind, if you don't get your mind to be prepared for the changes that you're going to be making along this journey, you may get tired very quickly, you may surrender, you may give up. And when you give up, you become more frustrated. You become more frustrated, and you believe in those limiting belief systems even more, because you think like you're a failure. You think like, you know, you can't make it. You think like it's not for you. In order for you not to fall back, in order for you not to give up, in order for you not to resign, but rather to keep on going and to grow that energy, the inspiration, the determination, the tenacity to carry on in spite of whatever obstacles, whatever difficulties, whatever situations you're going to face along this journey, you really need to work on your mind. You need to work on your thoughts. You need to work on what goes on inside there in your head. Okay? So in order to do that, there are 3 things that I will encourage you to do. One is get ready to fall in love with yourself. Fall madly in love with yourself like you've never done before. Because the reality is this: if you don't love yourself, no amount of love from outside will fulfill you. If you don't love yourself, you can't expect others to love you. If you don't love yourself, you may not even recognize love when you find it. So you really need to fall madly in love with yourself. When you fall madly in love with yourself, you realize that you're enough. You know that you're enough. You know that you're sufficient. You know that you can entertain yourself. You can spend time with yourself. You can be all by yourself without having the feeling that you're missing out on something. And even if people don't give you what you expect, you don't feel it so much because you've already given it to yourself. Does that make sense to you? So get ready to fall madly in love with you. And if anything comes that makes you fall out of love with yourself, make sure to find an affirmation and affirm yourself back into loving yourself, because it is going to be very, very important on this life journey. The reason is simple. Some people will abandon you along the way. Some people will say things to you, things like, oh my God, you have changed so much, I can't even recognize you. People will say things that may not be very kind, you know, that you may not find to be very kind. But if you have love, to learn to love, to accommodate yourself, to be by yourself if need be, you know, to not depend on people's opinion to know how good you are, how awesome you are, how amazing you are, what a great person you are. If you're not depending on people's opinion on this, you're good to go. You're good to go. If that comes from outside, it's just an addition. It's just the cream on top of the cake, the icing on top of the cake. So you got to learn how to love and to depend on yourself, on your judgment of who you are, and on your own actions. Okay? So number 2, quite a lot of people are out there looking for mentorship. They're looking for someone to coach them. They're looking for someone to help them, to inspire them, to motivate them. This is what this video is all about. But let me tell you this. You got to be your own source of inspiration, to be your own mentor, to be your own coach. If you don't learn how to coach yourself first from the inside, no amount of coaching from the outside will really take you to where you want to be. No amount of coaching from outside will help you. No amount of mentoring will help you. In fact, you will not even know when the mentorship that you're receiving is good for you or not. So you got to learn first to be your own mentor. You got to learn first to be your own lover. You got to learn first to be your own coach. You got to learn first to be your own source of inspiration. You got to learn first to motivate yourself. So these are some of the things that you need to bear in mind before we carry on this masterclass. If you are ready, if you understand what I'm saying, you are so welcome, and I'm so happy to have you in this space. So the third thing that you need to do is you need to be willing, ready, prepared to proactively take action. You need to be in full control of your life. By this, I mean, you don't have to wait until the next video to do whatever you think will take you the next step. You don't need to wait until someone tells you how to do it. Go and do it. Allow yourself to make mistakes. Allow yourself to fall down. By the way, when you were a child, how many times did you fall down when you learned how to walk? How many times did you fall down and stood up again because you were so determined to walk? Because you wanted to show your family, you wanted to show the world that you can walk. And where did that take you? See where that took you today. You can walk, you can run, you can do your own things. So be ready to allow yourself to get started, even when you know you're not yet ready. Get started, even though when you know you're not perfect. Get ready to get started, even though you know you don't have the resources. Get ready to get started, even when you don't have the money, even when you don't have the time. The essential thing that I want you to do is to get started. Get started with defining your purpose. Get started with sorting out your suitcase and your closet. Get started with defining your goal. Get started with allowing the best version of you to manifest. It is all in your hands. If you don't do it, no one will do it. You can watch my videos. You can watch other videos. You can follow them. You will become a follower of videos. I know this so much from myself. There was a time when I went from one motivational video to the next, from the one to the next and the other, and then another one. I was so full and even knew what people were going to say before they said it. But still, I thought that I was not good enough. I thought like it was not yet the time. I thought like, no, I still need some more. So don't be that person. Don't accumulate knowledge. You know, one of the reasons why we don't progress in life is not because we don't know what to do, but rather because we don't do what we know. So be a doer, not a knower. Be a doer, not a waiter. Be a doer, not a procrastinator. Be a doer, not someone who waits for whoever. So these are 3 things that I really needed to give you before we jump into the next level, because the next level is going to be more and more demanding, more and more complex. But if you set your mind on this and you are ready to stand out in the cold, no matter what, if you know 2020 is going to be your year, come what may, irrespective of what anyone says to you, irrespective of all the things that you have heard, what people have told you that you cannot, 2020 is a can year. It's a year where you try it, because if you don't try it, you'll never know how best you are. Sometimes we sit on the best version of us. Sometimes we sleep on the best version of us. Sometimes we trample on the best version of us because someone has said at some time that we're not good enough. And the fact is, what people say to us is not a reflection of what we are or who we are. It is a reflection of who they are. It's a reflection of what they think they see in us, not who we are, not what is in us. I hope this is making sense to you. So if you're ready to step into your 2020 best version. You're ready to redefine yourself, to reinvent yourself, and to finally be that person that you know inside of you that you are already. You just need to manifest it. You just need to let it out and let it blossom. If you're ready, I'll see you in the next video. My name is B.Achaleke. I am the founder of the Ubuntu Mindshift system. This class is free. I'm giving it all to you. All the lessons that I've learned over the last 3.5 years after shit happens to my life in 2014. All the lessons that I've learned in a country that I barely knew when I moved in. I moved in here with 2 suitcases, and the journey continues. Stay tuned. Please subscribe and kindly share with anyone around you who may need this kind of content in order to unleash their 2020 best version of who they were meant to be.